This meeting is being recorded.
All right, so what chapter is this? I should have looked. Let's see. Chapter 55 in I Am That by Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, a treatise on Advaita Vedanta. And of course, we're talking about the supreme reality. What is the nature of this universe we're living in? And how do we come to know it in a personal way? And and lots of different questions by our questioner here, asking about what's the point now. He's finally gotten down to that. What's the point? The last question, well, the last little area we read, he says if there's no advantage in gaining the supreme, then why take the trouble? Right? Right? If it's not going to give us anything, which of course it does. I mean, all of the sages write of the bliss, the divine joy of knowing the truth, that it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful truth. And so he wants to know if there's no advantage, well, we're raised in a capitalist society after all. We want to know what the payoff is. What are we going to get for realizing the supreme? And so he says, what's the point? And Maharaj says, there is trouble only when you cling to something. When you hold on to nothing, no trouble arises. The relinquishing of the lesser is the gaining of the greater. Right, and this is an interesting thing because he said in that first sentence, it's just a matter of not clinging to something, which is a great clue and one that we all know and are familiar with, but yet we still try to attain realization, right? To achieve realization. It's not an attainment or an achievement, a seeing, right? It's a seeing what has always been for the first time. And so he says the relinquishing of the lesser is the gaining of the greater. So everything that you're holding on to, everything in this world that you're attached to, is lesser than what you are. It's lesser than what you are. And this is a hard thing to believe. This is a hard thing to trust, that to have nothing would give us everything. And the scriptures even state it in that way, you know. That by by letting go of everything, you gain even more. So the relinquishing of the lesser is the gaining of the greater. Give up all, and you gain all. There it is. Then life becomes what it was meant to be, pure radiation from an inexhaustible source. In that light, the world appears dimly like a dream. Right? So this will be the experience of living, that we will see that what is this? I love this pure radiation. We understand that pure radiation of what? Divine love, right? So you'll literally turn into a piece of love uranium, right? Where you just are radiating this divine bliss everywhere you go. You're always positive, always loving, always available, always willing to put your shoulder into whatever's happening. It's the person really that all of us hope to be, right? So the questioner says, well, if my world is merely a dream and you are part of it, what can you do for me? If the dream is not real, having no being, how can reality affect it? Right? How can reality affect it? Well, see, when we're living in the dream, we're living in the dream as a dream character, right? We live in the dream as a dream character. We observe the dream through a character that's in the dream, and the character in the dream can be affected by the dream. And so when we're ignorant and think we forget, when we forget that we're the sleeper, that we're the one dreaming, and that the whole dream is within us, when we forget that and think that we're the character in the dream, then we're affected by the dream. But then the sages will come to you in the dream and say, the real you is unaffected by this dream, right? Because it's the sleeper in bed. So if I throw a bucket of water on you in the dream, the dreamer doesn't get wet. So the dreamer cannot be affected, but the dreamed, the character in the dream, can get wet, right? And so this is the big secret. We have to come to know we are not the character in this dream. We are not this particular body mind in this world. We are something that is observing the entirety. from the safety of spirit, which is why nothing in this world can really or truly affect us. So how can reality affect it? Maharaj, while it lasts, the dream has temporary being. It is your desire to hold on to it that creates the problem. Let go. Stop imagining that the dream is yours, right? Stop identifying with your particular point of reference here. Let go of it. Let go of it into nothing. That's the hard part. That's the terrifying part. That's the part that requires faith. Why Ramakrishna says that faith is the root of all. Because the only way to let go into nothing is to believe in that love, to believe in the nature of it being love, that you're not going to get hurt, you're not going to be destroyed, you're not going to be, at a loss. But you have to let go into nothing, which is a terrifying, terrifying thing to do, right? Because even to let go to jump into the pool from the high dive is terrifying. Now remove the pool, right? Remove the pool, remove any ground to land on at all, and say, okay, jump. And that's what realization is. Realization is having the nerve to jump and to realize that it was all a dream and that you're falling through divine love, right? That everything around you is divine love, that it never was material, it never was counter to your nature. So stop imagining that this dream is yours. Stop using the words me and mine for everything, right? Stop protecting your property from your neighbors. Open up what you have and share it, right? Questioner says, you seem to take for granted that there can be a dream without a dreamer, and that I identify with myself with the dream of my own sweet will. But I am the dreamer and the dream too. Who is to stop dreaming? Maharaj, let the dream unroll itself to its very end. You cannot help it, but you can look at the dream as a dream. Refuse it, the stamp of reality. Right? So the dream's going to go on. We don't know when it ends. Perhaps when the body drops, it ends, or a form of it ends, or it changes nature. Who knows? But this dreamer, he says that's not the point. The point isn't to not dream. The point is to understand the nature of the dream so that you don't suffer at its hands, so that you don't live in fear, so that fear isn't the seed for everything that you do. You see? At this point, the fear is the seed of everything. It's the motive of what we do in this world, right? Because we're afraid. We get hungry. We eat because our hunger makes us nervous. It points at an end that we don't want. We drink because we're thirsty, right? But in essence, that's out of fear of dying of thirst, right? And so we work for our shelter. We work for all of our money because we find security in it. We find strength in it. We find reassurance in it. I've got money for rent. I'm not going to live on the street, right? Oh, I can have my heat, stay warm. Right? And so it's all purchasing a temporary protectiveness in a world of the unknown. And he's saying the benefit of realizing God is to know that this is all a dream. You cannot be hurt by it. You cannot be affected by it. And to exert your freedom as the dreamer. Have faith. You'll be fine. You'll be taken care of. You're in the hands of love itself. So let the dream unroll itself to the very end. You cannot help it. But you can look at the dream as a dream and refuse it as the stamp of reality. The questioner, well, here am I sitting before you. I am dreaming and you are watching me talking in my dream. What is the link before us? Maharaj, my intention to wake you up is the link. Right? So here Maharaj is aware that he's in a dream, and he's aware that he's in our questioner's dream. And so when our dream says, well, here we are sitting in a dream together, what can you do for me? Why are you here if it's just a dream? My intention to wake you up is the link. That's what's between us, right? It's time for you to come to your realization. And so I have become a part of your imagined reality, in order to wake you up, right? My heart wants you awake, right? My nature, my Satchitananda wants you to wake up, wants everybody to wake up. I see you suffer in your dream, and I know that you must wake up to end your woes. When you see your dream as a dream, you wake up, but in your dream itself I am not interested. Enough for me to know that you must wake up. You need not bring your dream to a definite conclusion, or to make it noble, or happy, or beautiful. All you need is to realize that you are dreaming. Stop imagining. Stop believing. See the contradictions. See the incongruities. See the falsehood and the sorrow of the human state, the need to go beyond. Within the immensity of space floats a tiny atom of consciousness, and in it, the entire universe is contained. Wow. I love sentences like that, where you're just being blown along like a paper airline over a heating vent, you know? You're just floating and getting lifted. Look at that sentence. I love that. Within the immensity of space floats a single tiny atom of consciousness, and in it, the entire universe is contained. How amazing. You know, because think of it. Think of you in your dream, right? In the dream, you've got a vast dream going on, endless in all directions. But there's a tiny atom of consciousness floating in there, which represents you, the dreamer. You've entered into your dream as a tiny little atom of consciousness, of awareness, right? It's surrounded by a dream body, because that's what we do to protect ourselves. We create a dream body in order to know the dream, right? And then we identify with it. This is me. And so you've got that little tiny atom of consciousness floating through this entire dream. And yet the entire dream, you see this, you see the wonderful fractal nature of this? The atom is in the dream, but it turns out the reality that the dream is in the atom. So you've got one of those, I'm not sure what you call those, Mobius strips, you know, where you're both in the dream and out of the dream, of the dream and in the dream, a container of the dream, all simultaneously, right? And so it's no wonder we're confused. It's no wonder we're like, what in the world is going on here, as we try and sort it out, right? Questioner, well, there are affections in the dream which seem real and everlasting. Do they disappear on waking up? Maharaj, in dream, you love some and not others. On waking up, you find you are all love itself, embracing all. Personal love, however intense and genuine, invariably binds. Love is in freedom, is love of all. Right? So this is what you wake up to. This is what drops off. Your idea of your small self, the self that was limited, mostly limited in the way that it shared its love, right? Because we, that infinitely small atom, have an infinite amount of love to express. But our ego self, the trap, the veil, our ego, our idea of me, the story of me, the collection of thoughts, the snowball of thought in my mind that I call me, is not a benefit to me. It's not the refuge that it has fooled me into thinking. You know, it's a little ball of lies within which I find comfort, but which are not real and are not a real comfort. And that's why we suffer. We run into the danger to find our safety. And so he's saying that come to know who you really are, and you'll be set free from this false safety of your egoism, this false safety of your smallness that you cling to feel safe in a small spot, right? When you come into the knowledge that you are infinite love itself. What's he say here? It's just beautiful. Freedom from all. Oops. Oh, and your dreams. When you see the dream as a dream, you wake up. But in your dream itself, I'm not interested, right? So he's not interested in the particulars of your condition right now. Enough for me is to know that you must wake up. This is the deal. You don't have any other problems in your life. So many times when we think of spiritual life, we list all of our problems in life. Oh, I've got to work out with my mother. Oh, I've got to fix those. I've got to become this. I've got to stop doing that. I've got to know more about this, right? We're all interested in what has to be done in the dream. And he's saying, look, I'm done. I'm not interested at all in your condition of the world you've created. You've got to wake up. That's the one most important thing. You need not bring your dream into a definite conclusion. You don't have to finish the story. You don't have to come to a point where you're like, okay, this is a good place for my story to end. I think I'll die. Enough for me, he says, you need not bring your dream to a definite conclusion or make it noble or happy or beautiful. You don't have to fix it, right? Fixing the wrong idea of yourself in the dream, not a point to it, right? Not a point to it. He says, all you need is to realize that you are dreaming. And then the dream becomes beautiful of its own accord because you know your nature as the dreamer, as Satchit Ananda. And you understand that this dream is just a reflection of you. And you can let it go at that point, right? Stop imagining, stop believing, right? That means as that point of ignorance, as that little atom, stop identifying with everything you're producing, right? Stop letting this world come out of you and then you seeing its reflection and thinking that you're in it. Stop believing it. And how do we stop believing it? By beginning to pay attention. That's the whole point. All of this is self-evident to us when we're paying attention. But right now, when we pay attention, which is rare, we sometimes become aware of paying attention during the day, but not often. Most of the time, we're just engrossed in the movie. But he says, if you be aware, watch things more closely than you are, you'll see the mind cannot lie very well. And if you start paying attention to it, you'll start seeing through its betrayals. You'll start recognizing, oh, wait a minute, there was no continuity there, and you just created some continuity. That's interesting. And once you've seen that once, the second time is easier, the third time, and then you begin to realize, wow, there isn't any continuity here. This is a story. Continuity itself is a story, pieced together from one moment to the next by the mind, right? And then you begin to experience yourself as you are. You're no longer thinking of yourself as a 60-year-old melting creature of decay. you start you start thinking of yourself as no time, that you've always felt the same. That's a beautiful, and I think many people come to this realization, and I think the older people, the elderly that come to this realization are the luckiest, are because they know I'm the same person inside that I've always been. Right? I'm the same 7-year old. I'm the same 18-year old. I'm the 25-year old. I'm the 35-year old, the 45-year old, and now I'm the 60-year old. But I've always experienced age, right? But that age is constantly changing, but I am always experiencing it. And I'm always surprised by the new things it brings, right? Always surprised by it. This morning I mentioned I got up and looked in the mirror. I was like, why is my face swollen? That that hasn't happened before. What's going on with that? Right? And so we sit inside and we watch these things. And when you know, they they have very little to do with you. I've been aging for 60 years. I'm still doing fine. Right? It's all markers on a window. It doesn't matter. And when you get to set yourself free from that, right, and understand that you're the same playful, naive sweetheart in the middle of this that you were when the first elder gave you a lollipop, or a candy, and you in great gratitude took it, or that YouTube video I saw of a little girl, they wrapped up a rock. There's a lot of those videos, but this particular prank is some little toddler, you give them something like a rock or a banana for Christmas and wrap it all up nice for them just to see what their reaction is. And so they gave this little girl a rock, literally just a rock from the garden. And she opened up that rock and she ran around and showed it to everybody. She was so excited about that rock. It was her rock now. And it was just lovely. It was so lovely because the divine principle was so clear in it, right? You can love anything. You can love anything. You can be excited by anything. You can be excited just in living. This is why they say you have to become like a child again. You have to stop thinking you know something. Stop thinking you've got it figured out. Stop putting yourself in a narrative and just following it along to get nowhere, to get nowhere. Get yourself back into a position where you can open up a rock and be excited about it. Where you can look at a rock and see the wonder that a child sees in a rock and the wonder of having it being your very own, right? That you get to see that that identity with something is the channel with which love travels. And this is why Ramakrishna, the Holy Mother says, make the whole world your own, right? It's your stranger. It's not just a stranger, it's your stranger, right? Run over and give your stranger a big hug. Love your stranger. They're your very own, right? And to learn to live in the world like that. That was another video I saw on my little binge last night. That little girl, that all these pictures of children who just fell in love with a stranger for no reason. You've probably seen that. Some little girl just ran up to this guy in the grocery store. I was just holding his hand. I was just suddenly all interested in this old man. No reason. The little girl on the airplane that fell in love with the woman sitting behind her, the row behind her, and kept looking over the back of the seat with such loving, sweet, smiling eyes, just charming this person to pieces. This is you. This is what all these words are trying to say. In your freedom, put your love in your freedom. Let it go. Let it fly everywhere and touch everything. Stop imagining, stop believing, see the contradictions, the incongruities, the falsehood, the sorrow of this human state, the need to go beyond. Within the immensity of space floats a tiny atom of consciousness, and in it the entire universe is contained. There are affections in the dream which seem real and everlasting. Do they disappear? Maharaj, in the dream you love some and not others. On waking up, you find that you are love itself, embracing all. Personal love, however intense and genuine, invariably binds. Love in freedom is love of all. But people come and go. One loves whom one meets. One cannot love all. Maharaj, when you are love itself, you are beyond time. You are beyond numbers. In loving one, you love all. In loving all, you love each. One and all are not exclusive. Right? One and all are not exclusive. That's the problem with our love. We always think it's exclusive. I love my husband, done. All the rest of the men in the world could fall off the bridge. Right? I love my wife, that's it. And so it's seeing all as our family. That's what Swami Prabhupada told me early on, because I really still struggle with, having to have walked away from family. Like, I don't like that one at all. And I asked Ramakrishna about Swami Prabhupada, why is that? Why do we have to do that? It seems so mean. And he said, oh, it's not the ideal, it's temporary. You walk away from them at first so that you can work on bringing everybody forward as your mother, everybody forward as your brother, everyone forward as your sister. He says, and when your mother is a mother among mothers, then you are free to love. Until you know that your mother is one mother among mothers, that your lover is one lover among lovers, one friend among friends. Once you come to know that, then you're free to love your family in truth, not in a selfishness, right? Not in all of the disadvantages that come with attachment. When you are love itself, you are beyond time and numbers. In loving one, you love all. In loving all, you love each. One and all are not exclusive, right? So loving this woman as your mother, there's no reason not to love that woman as your mother. You love this person as your brother or sister, there's no reason you can't love that person as your brother and sister. The attachment is not special. Attached to everyone, right? Attached to everyone. Our power of attachment and our power of detachment should be equal, because it's through attachment that we love, right? And it's through detachment that we don't suffer. Questioner, he says, well, you say you're in a timeless state, right? Does it mean that past and future are open to you? Did you meet Vashishta Muni, Rama's guru? Maharaj, the question is in time and about time. Again, you are asking me about the contents of a dream. Timelessness is beyond the illusion of time. It is not an extension in time. He who called himself Vashishta knew Vashishta. I am beyond all names and all shapes. Vashishta is a dream in your dream. How can I know him? You are too much concerned with the past and future. It is all due to your longing to continue, to protect yourself against extinction. And you want to continue. You want others to keep you company. Hence your concern with their survival. But what you call survival is but the survival of a dream. Death is preferable to it. There is a chance of waking up. Right. Okay. You all understand that he's not telling you to kill yourself. Right? But he's saying there is something behind this dream that is just coming into the dream little tiny flecks at a time. All the beauty that you see in this dream is but a flash, a piece of static of the real beauty that's behind it. All those little touches of love that you've had with your lovers, with your wife and children, those moments of love, those moments of embrace, those are just little trickles, little somebody splashing a little bit of God in your face, right? Just a little flash of love on you. And you see how happy you are to have that from your grandchild, to have that from your daughter, your husband, your wife, right? That wonderful sense of warmth and inclusion in that embrace. It's just God giving you just a touch, just a splash of himself. And if you turn within, you find the ocean of it, an ocean of those little splashes that you've gotten. You say that you are in a timeless state. Oh, sorry. You are aware of eternity, therefore you are not concerned with survival. Maharaj, it is the other way around. Freedom from all desire is eternity. Hmm, that's a very interesting piece of information. That's very interesting, actually. I've always thought of eternity being merely a time-oriented concept. But he says it's the other way around. Freedom from all desire is eternity. That's interesting. That really indicates that your love of objects is what keeps you in time. Your attachment to objects and things is what keeps you in time, keeps you bound. Wow, that's very important. Wow, that's a great little nugget. We just got something there. Beautiful. It is the other way around. Freedom from all desire is eternity. All attachment implies fear. You see, this is why. All attachment implies fear. Why are you clinging? Right? It's like a drowning person will cling to anything you throw to them in the pool, right? Even a stone. They'll just grab onto anything, right? Out of terror. We don't want to sink. We don't want to become non-existent, right? All attachment implies fear, for all things are transient. And we know that. That's why we try and pull things around us. You know, our wedding vows, the first time we scratched our lover's name in the wall, it was like, John and Jackie forever, you know, Chris and Pat forever, right? And this notion that this love is forever, I'll love you forever. We tie ourselves to things in this world. We want a stone house, not a wood house. It lasts longer, right? Always looking. And in our country, and I really noticed that in India, that's something, this is one of those, I don't know if I made this up because I'm just trying to understand India when I go there. I try to expand myself a little bit because I'm very challenged there and I like it. But I wondered why, here, everything, our goal is everything is new. Newness is our ideal, right? So we want our house to look new. We want our car to look new. We want our old people to look new. We want our young people to look new. Newness is our ideal, right? And I wondered why that was. Well, this is why that is. We are a materialistic culture, and the worst thing that can happen is for things to grow old and die, to go away, to prove themselves to be a flash in the pan, right? So we cling to that. And in India, I was asking one of the brahmacharis I was walking with, and I was just looking at, like just the finger markings on the sides of the houses, and the paint. They use a different kind of paint over there. It doesn't really peel off. It sort of fades in a beautiful way, actually. But and I was asking, I was like, well, why is everything just decayed? Why do you Indians just let everything just fall apart? And he says, I don't see it that way. He says, we allow everything to be used and to look like it's used. He says, all of this dirt, as you call it, he says, to me, it's story. It tells of all the people that have been here, all the people who have touched this wall in the same way, everybody who runs their hand along this railing in the same way. He says, that's how I see it. He says, things are allowed to grow old. Things are allowed to become worn out. And when they fall and die, it's accepted. That's part of the story too. And that's why we don't necessarily clean that up either. Right? Anyway, I thought when I heard that, at first I kind of rolled my eyes thinking, "Oh boy, what a beautiful excuse." But as I walked around looking at it from that perspective, oh my goodness, did that embrace me? What a wonderful way to see it, that all of this decay is allowing something to be old, is allowing something to be what it is, and to accept its coming and its going equally in this world, not to constantly disguise it by keeping everything looking brand new.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. Well, they spend a lot of money doing that.
Oops, I think you're not muted, Mark.
No, I'm talking to you, actually.
Oh, you are.
The whole society spends a
I,
heck of a lot of money trying to stay young. I mean,
oh
it's
my
not,
God, money, yes, money and time, right? Constantly just making everything look fresh. It is. I thought I was listening carefully to see if you were with me or not, and then when you said, "Oh, they spend a lot of money on that," I thought, "Oh, you must be on a business call." Right. Right. So it is not the other way around. Freedom from all desire is eternity. Oh my God, I still love that. That gives me a real zing inside. Some bliss comes up at just that thought. That's just wonderful. That's why when you have a good meditation, you're outside of time. That's why an hour passes in what seems like a few seconds when you go deep into meditation, because meditation is detachment, right? It's letting go, and you start experiencing that eternity. Fascinating. Freedom of desire is eternity. All attachment implies fear, for all things are transient. And this fear makes us a slave. How? By depending on things outside of ourself for our security, for our love, for our well-being, right? We start doing that whole process of Eve looking at that tree in the garden, seeing things as beautiful, and then going the next step, letting them trigger a desire to own them, and then triggering the notion that somehow this is going to make me like God. This is going to make me whole. This is going to make me safe and warm. Right? And so you see the thing here. All attachment implies fear because everything is transient, and fear makes you a slave when you look outside yourself for your safety. This freedom from attachment does not come with practice. It is natural, right? To be free from attachment is natural when one knows one's true being. Your fear goes away when you start to understand that you are spirit. You're not something that can disappear. You are outside of time. You're not something that wears out and dribbles into non-existence. By knowing your true nature, you're released from this fear. That's what Moksha Prana was trying to tell me when she touched me in that vision and said, it's okay, right? It's okay. Let go of all of these things that have caused you fear. Let go of all these ideas that cause you to panic, that cause you to feel small and helpless. Let go of this. Believe in none of it. Find eternity. Eternity lies in freedom, which is detachment, no desire. All right, so this freedom from attachment does not come with practice. It is natural when one knows its true being. Love does not cling. Clinging is not love. Right? Real love does not have a fear of loss because love is. Right? Love is. The questioner says, so there is no way to gain detachment? Maharaj, there's nothing to gain. Abandon all imaginings and know yourself as you are. Self-knowledge is detachment. Wow, my God, there's another one. That's huge. Self-knowledge is detachment. Wow, that is so full. That is so full. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. How obvious, and yet I've never heard that said like that. Right? Self-knowledge is detachment. Why? Because it's your awareness of self that drops your need for anything else. It's your awareness of your fullness, of your oneness, that allows you to let go of all of these other things outside of yourself, right? Mm. Yes, all craving is due to a sense of insufficiency, right? We get that notion, we get an idea in our head that whatever, you know, we get sick, and then we have that in our head. We identify ourselves, oh, I'm unwell. No, you're not. If you were unwell, you wouldn't know that you were unwell. It's because you're not unwell that you know that you're unwell, that the body's unwell. Right? So this notion. All craving is due to a sense of insufficiency. When you know that you lack nothing, that all there is you and yours, then desire ceases. Right? Desire ceases. Swami Prabhupada, very jokingly, but very sincerely, told me one time, because I was asking him how to detach, and he said, make the whole world your own. I said, well, Maharaj, how does that play out? I mean, that's a big statement that I can't really understand. Make the whole world my own. What do you mean? And he said this thing to me. I really remember because it was so out of character for him. He said, oh, see, like Nordstrom's, right? You tell me you used to shop in Nordstrom's. He says, why shop in Nordstrom's? You can go to your Nordstrom's closet anytime you want, and you can put on anything you want, and you can walk around the store and enjoy wearing it. And then you go back to the changing room, take it off, put it back on the hanger, and put your other clothes on. And Nordstrom's is just another closet, right? You can go wear anything you want, wear it around as long as you want, and then you put it back in your Nordstrom's closet and come home. All right. And I just love that idea of him because he was always in his Garo, of course, but I could always just see him with his Nordstrom closet and his Kmart closet and his, you know. Oops. All right. So there is no way to gain detachment. He says there's nothing to gain. Abandon all imaginings and know yourself as you are. Right? Self-knowledge is detachment. All craving, it's just due to a sense of insufficiency. When you know that you lack nothing, that all there is you and yours, desire ceases. To know myself, I must practice awareness. Maharaj, there's nothing to practice. To know yourself, be yourself. To be yourself, stop imagining yourself to be this or that. Just be, right? Which means stop following your mind and start following the heart. Don't let your movements always be part of a preordained narrative. Be spontaneous. Be present. There's nothing to practice. To know yourself, be yourself. To be yourself, stop imagining yourself to be this or that. Just be. Let your true nature emerge. That's the inspiration. Your true nature is inspiration. It's pure love, pure wisdom, and absolute presence, right? In that, my God, what a treasure. My God, what a treasure. Let your true nature emerge. Don't disturb your mind with seeking. Don't don't disturb your mind with seeking. Right? So we're going to stop there for this morning.